He clutched his stomach. Sweat poured down his forehead. He could barely walk. "It's just malaria," he mumbled. But what he was carrying wasn't malaria. It was something far more deadly. Something that had already begun to consume his home country of Liberia. And in less than 48 hours, it threatened to explode in one of the most populated cities in Africa. One woman, a doctor, stood in the way. Her name is Stella Amayo Adadavov. This is the story of a woman who faced death and did not blink. Before she was a headline, before the sorrow, there was just a doctor. A woman in a lab coat, walking the fluorescent-lit halls of a modest private hospital in Lagos. Stella Adadavo. Reserved, sharp, calm under pressure. A doctor who preferred action over applause. What many didn't know? She came from Nigerian royalty. Her great-grandfather was Herbert Macaulay, the father of Nigerian nationalism. Her grandfather, Nnamdi Azikiwe, the country's first president. But she didn't walk around like a politician. She wasn't chasing fame or office. She had a stethoscope, not a slogan. She chose medicine. She chose people. She became an endocrinologist, worked at the modest but reputable First Consultants Medical Center in Lagos. And on one ordinary July morning, she walked into work. His name was Patrick Sawyer, a Liberian official who had just landed in Lagos. His body was failing. High fever, vomiting. He told doctors it was just malaria. And in Lagos, malaria is routine. But something didn't sit right. Not with Dr. Stella. Sawyer had just come from Liberia, where Ebola had already started its deadly spread. Weeks earlier, he had buried his own sister, claimed by the virus. That was the red flag. While others reached for the malaria meds, Dr. Stella paused. She didn't just treat the symptoms. She saw the storm on the horizon. She acted fast. She alerted Nigerian health officials, ordered tests, and did something no protocol had prepared her for. She locked Sawyer in. You'd think the world would have backed her, but instead, she was pressured. Diplomatic calls came from Liberian officials. Release him. He has a conference to attend. There was political heat, professional doubt, and silence from a government that wasn't yet ready to confront the threat. Dr. Stella held her ground. She refused to release Patrick Sawyer. She barricaded the room, used plastic sheets, gloves, duct tape, anything she could find to create a quarantine zone. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough to buy time. Outside, Lagos kept moving. Markets full, football games playing, people commuting. Inside that hospital, a biological time bomb had just been defused. But viruses don't wait for permission. By the time Sawyer was isolated, it was already too late for some. Nurses, doctors, cleaning staff, several had already been exposed. Protective gear was scarce. There were no full-body hazmat suits. Training? Non-existent. They were improvising while death hovered outside the door. And then, Dr. Stella felt it. Fatigue, a fever, headache. She didn't panic. She didn't run. She quietly quarantined herself. From that hospital bed, she kept leading, issuing instructions, revising safety protocols, updating the Ministry of Health. She knew the virus was inside her, but she never stopped trying to stop it from getting out. August 19th, 2014, Stella Adadavov died, but the chain she broke stopped something far worse. Because of her sacrifice, Nigeria's outbreak was contained. Contact tracing began. Emergency measures kicked in. And by October 20th, Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, was declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization. Only 8 deaths in a city of 21 million. Compare that to Liberia and Sierra Leone, where thousands perished. Why? Because one woman said no. Dr. Stella never sought glory. She didn't know her actions would be studied in medical schools, featured in documentaries, or whispered as prayers by people who never knew her name. She was just doing her job, with conviction, with clarity, and with courage. Her family later founded the Drasa Health Trust, a non-profit that now trains medical professionals in infectious disease response. Her fingerprints are on every Nigerian protocol for future outbreaks. She's not here, but her hands are still saving lives. When you think of heroes, you might picture capes, powers, spotlights. But sometimes, the world is saved by a woman in a white coat, in a back office of a quiet hospital, who simply said, "No, he cannot leave." That's not just heroism. That's what moral courage looks like. If this story moved you, like this video, share it, and turn on the notification. Leave a comment with one word, respect, and subscribe for more stories that deserve the spotlight.